How to make a flat pocket bag.
Welcome to the bag making lessons. This is the finished bag. It's very nice and beautiful, right? There is a bucket lock on the flap to close the bag. You see the stitches and the bottom side, all is done well. When you open the lock, you will see the inner, nice size for your wallet and makeup things in it. Now, let us put the metal chain's shoulder strap under the bag. Okay, now the beautiful bag is finished. Now, do you want to know how to make it? Let's go to study together. First, cutting the CAD design paper model, which is designed by computer and printed out. We only use the knife to cutting the shard one by one. First, cutting the CAD design paper model, which is designed by computer and printed out. We only use the knife to cutting the shard one by one. Note that when cutting paper templates, be careful not to cut your fingers, especially novices, and be sure to cut according to the size of the paper template, not too big or too small. The exact standard of the paper template is to make a correct bag of the prerequisites. All paper model is okay, please note, the every part of the bag should be cutting down and must check before next step. Now, next step coming, cutting the materials according to the paper models. For the bag, there is many materials, genuine leather, PU, cavans, polyester, nylon, Oxford, and so on. It depends on the design conception. This bag design we chose cowskin leather, cutting panels for every parts of this bag. It depends on the design conception. This bag design we chose cowskin leather, cutting panels for every parts of this bag. The same request. Be careful and be exact. Positioning on the paper sample needs to be drawn out in advance with a mercury pen, such as the median line. There are also some cardboards that need to be stiffened together to be cut out. Brush a piece with glue first to make it easier for us to attach the thickened cardboard used to make the whole bag stand up. Be careful when brushing glue. Not too much and not too little. Too much will stick to other places affecting the beauty. Too little may shift when resewing. After attaching the cardboard, be sure to make some positioning marks, such as the stitching line, the median. Now we're working on the front and back panels of this bag as well as the top. They're one piece, and since the top needs to be curved, it's just a matter of gluing reinforced and thickened cardboard. Mark the median of the four sides. Brush on the glue and stick on the fabric. Compact. Do not have air bubbles or uneven in order to avoid the emergence of poor adhesion. Brush glue around the edges for the second layer of fabric, being careful not to brush too much or too little glue. Each time the brush glue, or both sides to brush the glue. Do not just brush a single layer of fabric, you need 2 layers of mutual adhesive surface or brush with glue. Now press the glued fabrics together. This will be very strong and easy for us to sew at a later stage. The center marking is done again in order to position it well during sewing. Marking the position of the lock and drilling the position of the D-ring where the chain is to be mounted. Based on the paper template, trim the fabric pieces to precise angles and sizes. The location of the locks and the holes to be punched out have to be done well. The next step is to make holes for the sewing thread. Please use a professional punching roll punch tool. This tool will have different sizes. Please pay attention to choose the right needle pitch tool. Choose the right thickness and color of silk thread for hand stitching, taking care to always secure the fabric. Of course, if used sewing machine can also be used to improve efficiency. Be sure to burn the threads with fire or beat them to death so they don't unravel. The first panel is okay. In the same steps as the first panel, the other panels should be brushed with glue to thicken and reinforce the pasteboard. Drill holes for the locks to facilitate the installation of latches. Note that a professional punching punch is required for punching holes, and there is also a difference in size, so be sure to check the size of the lock against the size of the lock. Before installing the lock, be sure to perform a lock inspection test to see if it is fully functional. The same steps, glue the panel and the inner layer, then together fixed. Right, it's very easy. Take care that the edges fit tightly and that they are smooth and consistent in size. New process. Note that in order to make the edges smooth and no stubble, we will apply a layer of edge oil to each edge. Use professional edge oiling material. Genuine leather and artificial leather are not the same, and there is also a distinction between colors. Usually choose the same color as the fabric, unless your design is to clash colors. Next, punching up the cars, stitching holes for sewing. New process, peeling. To make sewing easier, we peel the edges to make the leather thinner so it can easily pass through the stitches. There are professional peeling tools. There will be a difference in width. If it is in bulk, there will be a specialized machine for peeling, which will be very efficient. Brush the edges of the peel with glue and let the two pieces of fabric of the pouch on the front panel fit together, taking care that the edges are tightly seamed. Mark the center position and trim the edges according to the paper pattern, to the same size and accuracy as the paper pattern. Marking should be done with a mercury pen, which is a very bright and recognizable color and can also be wiped off with a professional cleaner without leaving a mark. Mark next. We also need the entire side circumference of the bag, which is the left, right, and bottom, which are the three parts. So let's join them up and take a closer look. Now, peeling the edges one by one, the same hem length. Glue the hems. Not too much and not too less, only the edge with glue. Notice how it's wired up. Kais begin sewing, knotting the three pieces into a long hoop. Next, all the pieces are ready. Now it's just a matter of sewing them all together. Pinholes punched around the entire edge of the front and back panels. Brush glue the edges where are the places to be sewn. Before sewing, they should be glued together by hand, especially by pressing hard and fully adhere to ensure that they do not split and are easy to sew. Hand stitch, being careful to make sure to use tight alignment and not misalign. The front pockets are sewn in. The next step is to stitch them together piece by piece, simple and repetitive, yet creating infinity, right? The median of the markers is used for good positioning, and the median of each panel should be aligned so as to make the bag on correct position. Next, stitching the panels together. Sandpaper all edges of the bag smooth. Fix the lock. Make a belt for the chain strap studs. Positioning of holes for rivets. The last step, put the chains on the bag. It's finished. Now you have get the skill to make a shape bag. Congratulations!